So today is Sunday, January 18th, and I just got back from running the computer at my church, and I just had some thoughts here after I got home, mostly about what I'm going to do on this channel. If I even do anything, I don't know if I'll keep going on this channel or not. I got home a little while ago, and I was just kind of sitting around the house watching some Adam tribute videos from today, Justin's, Kevin's. I've also watched, Micah's video, Tim's video, Jay's video, all of Mr. Williams's videos, of course. I've watched pretty much all of them, and every time I do, it brings it all back. It makes it hard again. So I have to kind of limit myself to the number of videos that I watch. Yeah, Adam was a special guy. I mean, I love the guy so much. I remember when we went to Spooky Empire, he showed me around inside a large Marge. And I mean, I think immediately he just, he felt I was a kindred spirit. And a lot of it too is, I would say, because of, Three's Company. I mean, we both love Three's Company. He always told me that, Greg, you're the only friend that I have that just loves Three's Company as much as I do. I hung out with him several times at his house, and, we played Nintendo, and it was a good time. I enjoyed being friends with Adam, and, hopefully he enjoyed being friends with me. I've never been the one who's like the wacky friend, the crazy, over the top kind of friend. I've always been kind of the quiet, more reserved ones. And, when we get in a big group, I'm always the one who kind of recedes into the background a little bit. So I've always been the quiet one. I'm not the big standout flashy one. But anyway, just the future of this channel. I really don't know what I'm going to do here on this channel. I might have gone out and done something today and filmed something, but the car is acting up. It's there's like a brake issue right now, so I really don't want to drive. I got to change the pads. I really don't want to drive it all that much with all this hullabaloo on the brakes, so I'm taking it to the shop tomorrow to hopefully get that resolved. But after that, I'll be back out and doing stuff on a regular basis, I hope, on the weekends. I also have my Greg's Game Room channel, and I usually spend my weekends editing those videos, so it's kind of hard for me to do both channels at once. But I'm very appreciative of folks who have stopped by this channel and said hello and watched the last two videos that I did. I really do appreciate that. So I hope that I can continue to do those videos, and if you continue to watch, I'll definitely continue to make those. At least that's my plan. I don't know. Sometimes I get into this mode where I just don't want to do anything. Adam always used to tell me that during his times off, he just wanted to sit in a corner in his house and just stare at the walls. Didn't really want to do a whole lot. Just stare. That was my idea of a vacation, Greg. That's what he used to tell me. Is just sitting around and just staring at the walls. Trying to articulate my feelings about not having him around anymore. It's very complicated. I'm a very compartmentalized kind of person. I'm able to take this loss of Adam and put it over here, and yet still, kind of do my daily routine. I have a regular 8 to 5 job, so I kind of have to put that aside while I'm working. A lot of people are unable to do that. They're unable to not move on. I mean, because none of us are going to be moving on from this for a very long time. I mean, I don't ever see it ever going away, honestly. I watched the John Candy documentary not too long ago, and the very first scene was of Bill Murray talking about how he still misses his friend 30 years later. And I feel like that's the way that we're going to be with Adam. We're never going to forget him. We're always going to be missing him every day, every minute. I'm going to walk into the game room and think, yeah, Adam was here. He and I got to hang out in the game room that time. That was an amazing day that he stopped by. When you don't have distractions in your mind, you have a tendency to just keep reliving it over and over again, and that's very hard. All of my off time, it's just a constant thing. I have to get off of Facebook. I have to get off of Instagram. I have to get off of YouTube. I have to get off of all of these social media outlets because it's just a constant barrage of how everybody misses Adam, and it just brings it back every time. And I don't want to move on from it. I don't want to ever move on from missing him, because he was such an important part of, everyone's lives, mine included. I just love the guy. I mean, I don't see how anybody could not love the guy. He was just... Anyway, I'm getting off track on the point of this video, which was, where do I go from here? Like I said, I do want to continue to make videos if you will watch the videos. A lot of times I would make videos on this channel and, I might get 100, 200, 300 views on it after spending, 8 hours filming and editing. So when you get that few views, it's kind of not really much point in making those kind of videos. Part of the reason I like to make these videos is just kind of as a memory capsule, a time capsule of what it was I was doing on that day. Like my friend Ryan was saying to me the other day about, oh, you remember when we went and did this? And I'm like, no, not really, because I put it on film, so then I don't have to remember those things. Whenever we'd all hang out with Adam, a lot of us were filming. Ryan was filming, Jay was filming, our friend Nola Deej came with us one time and he was filming as well. I mean, we're all filming at the same time. It kind of became a little comical. So I kind of stepped back a little bit. I wasn't going to film all the same stuff that everybody else did. And then the other aspect of filming with Adam was I never, ever wanted him to feel like I wanted to hang out with him just for the clout. I just enjoyed his company. I just loved, his Arnold imitations and all of his stories that he would have. And, we talk about Three's Company, and his favorite episode of Three's Company was Mighty Mouth. It's this episode where Jack goes to the gym and he was working out to impress this girl. He gets back to his apartment and he's like really super sore, right? So he can't even barely move, and he's like very slowly inching around the apartment, and this girl comes in and, gives him this big hug, and he's like, somebody starts banging on the door, and the girl says, "That's my brother Harvey." And Adam would always do the line that John Ritter would say. He would always go, "Harvey's your brother? Harvey's your brother?" That always cracked me up. But yeah, we'd always have a good time talking about that stuff. But my point was that I never wanted to film Adam and make him feel like I was doing it for clout. So a lot of the videos that I put on the channel, I barely even have him in there. The one that comes to mind is the wrestling video. We went to this wrestling match. He invited me to go to the convention, and I was kind of like, not all up on the whole convention today. But he's like, well, they're doing this wrestling thing later. You want to come to that? I'm like, heck yeah, I've never done that before. So we did the wrestling, and maybe I showed him once. Again, I never wanted him to feel like I wanted to be his friend just, to build up this channel. That was never at all the intention. I just loved hanging around him. He was just a fun guy to hang around. But again, I've regressed back into talking about Adam again. This channel, I hope to continue it. I want to continue it. And, but it's not going to be like a daily thing. I can't do it daily. Like I said, I have this regular 8 to 5 job, so I can't do a daily video. Shoot, I can't even do a video today because of my car breaking down. For the most part, I mean, any video that I do make will be for me as my own personal time capsule, but you're welcome to view it as well. And I hope that you will. The interaction, that's what I really enjoy the most is, your comments. That's always very meaningful for me to have that interaction with everybody. As I said, I'm always been the quiet one, but I'm also not the one who's very wordy. So this video so far I've filmed, like 8 minutes or something like that. I never know what to say on camera. So most of the time I'm just making it up as I go. A lot of times I draw from my own knowledge of, this particular event or that particular Star Wars thing or whatever, so I'm drawn to the things that I can actually make comments on. But, I guess that's how a lot of people are. So I don't know where I was going with this video. I just wanted to say thank you. And hopefully I'll be able to say thank you even more down the road. No matter what I do or where I go, that Adam is just going to be with me all the time. I'm going to go to Dragon Con this year, and I'm going to be thinking of him the entire time.
How are you today?
Getting hungry.
You're hungry?
Right now, I'm very hungry.
I'll probably go to Spooky Empire this year too, and I'll go to Disney this year, and You know, I'm hoping that maybe one day I can do my own road trip, you know, kind of along the lines of what he would do. But just anytime I go out, you know, I'm going to be thinking of him. It's not going to be the same without him. He was the glue, you know, he was the guy that, you know, brought everybody together. He was the reason that I wanted to get out of the house, because I wanted to hang with Adam. I haven't been back to the grave or back to St. Cloud. Obviously, you know, I've got car issues at the moment, so I really can't. But I do hope at one point that I will go back and revisit a lot of his places. I remember I did a video probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I started to make a video where I tried to replicate his van dwelling video. He would have hated it, I guess. I don't know, maybe he wouldn't have. I don't know. He would have thought it was a nice homage. But I never finished it. I never finished that video. Now I got a train going by here. Oy. Adam had the leaf blowers. I've got trains. But I always thought that video was a little cheesy, so I never did anything with it. Maybe I'll put it here at the end of this video. It's just kind of a reminder. Another thing I want to mention briefly is that I've always wanted to find some way of incorporating my faith into these kind of videos. I don't feel like there's really a good way to do it aside from just being, you know, the godly person that, you know, you're expected to be. But I've always felt that there should have been some way of conveying that verbally, maybe at the end of the video. And like in Mr. Williams' videos, he always says at the end of those, God willing, I'll see you in the next video. And I really like that. I really think that that's a good way to kind of convey that faith. I truly do believe that I will see Adam again one day. You know, right now he's there with Walt. He's there with John Ritter. He's there with Jim Varney. And he's there with Huell Hauser. These are all folks that he really loved. And I'm going to just give him the biggest bear hug when I do. He used to do that. He used to give us bear hugs. He'd give us bear hugs, and it always made it a little weird. But that was Adam. But yeah, I've gone off track yet again. I've said so much and said so little, as Adam used to say. But anyway, thank you for watching. God willing, I'll see you again in the next video. But until then, the adventure's in you.
Hey friends, Greg here. I'm at kind of a famous spot in the world of woo. You may recognize this bridge. It's kind of where Adam's van dwelling video was created, right here.
So I got a few of my DVDs here. Of course, I got Back to the Future. Got a little Three's Company. Can't go wrong with some John Ritter.
Harvey's your brother? Harvey's your brother?